Six, when 6 p.m. I put the United States one nation, behind it all, the end of the world, all right. Mom gave me the and then she got this there now, went down there pretty early. There, I was doing that now, and now happening. There. We'll start off with a regular session tonight. In executive session, pursuant to order 192.6, allows the executive session to conduct deliberations of the persons designated by the governing law and the ability to get real law transactions. Order 192.6 is always found that the super information about is not by law. It's statute. Order 192.6 concerning litigation or litigation by or 192.6 is only QI and evaluate related to performance of the chief executive officer and the body in the policy, including the staff and the and final action, the decision matter will be taken during the regular session. And the staff shall be allowed to prepare the session all of the documents at the deliberations or anything said about these subjects, clearly that are presented in the state example, so that the section as previously announced. No decision may be made in the executive session as the end of the executive session, use the open session and holding the audience back.
Testing. Oh. It picks up from, but then again, it's because it's my
Talk loud.
computer.
Want to test the audio on?
Yeah. Shoot.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10.
Can I?
I close to you.
Can I have Albert?
Yes. Hello.
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12.
Okay, we will go with that one then. Sorry. Okay, we can convene now.
Okay,
Or
so we're ready.
yes.
All right, welcome back. I think we'll start with Mark. You want to give a brief? Very good. Thank you. So a quick overview again, commissioners. Starting last month, you established a process and evaluation criteria for the evaluation of your executive director. Over the last month, we've followed that process. All of the commissioners have submitted to me your individual performance evaluations for Jeremiah's performance for the period of 2023 through 2024. And I have compiled an anonymous summary of that information, provided that to you. And in executive session, you had the opportunity to review and consider that information. You offered a few comments and additional feedback. You then had the opportunity to brief Jeremiah on the findings of that evaluation. In the process of completing that, completing the review, you've identified 2 requested changes that you want to make to the information that we will provide to Jeremiah. The first is on the list of goals that you have given him for goals for the next year, going to add a goal 0. And that goal 0 will be to establish a process for defining and prioritizing the goals, and that Jeremiah should report back to the commission with a proposed work plan for completing those goals. The second change you requested is to the criteria that you'll use for evaluation of Jeremiah's performance next year. That will be to provide effective and efficient administration of court programs and implementation of the strategic business plan. Other than that, the goals for next year's performance, the criteria for next year's performance will remain the same as this year. So with that, you have the completed evaluation process. You've had an opportunity to share that information with Jeremiah. We've amended the form, and I will provide those adjustments and get back to you. So at this time, it would be appropriate if the commission would like to consider a motion to approve the proposed evaluation with the amendments that we've discussed.
I'll make a motion that we accept and approve the executive director performance evaluation for 2023 and 2024 with the noted edits.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been a motion and a second to adopt the evaluation. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All righty.
Back to objective.
That's time.
Back to objective.
We will go back into executive session. Please bear with us if you like. This is for ORS 192.6602E, which allows the commission to meet in executive session to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Also, ORS 192.6602F to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection, and ORS 192.6602H to consult with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Great to see everyone. You guys need a break?
Report in progress.
Give me 1 second just to let me make sure that it's recording on here, and of course you dropped right after I stated. Okay.
Welcome back. We are now out of the executive session and we're moving ahead. We now have meeting minutes discussion. Let's see, did we do that?
Yeah, no, 4A.
4A, yeah, meeting minutes. Okay, there we go.
What we'd like the staff to consider is exploring transition from current really cohesive, comprehensive meeting minutes to a motion-only format as the official record of documents. So if you look at your normal minutes, I don't know how many of you had a chance to review this, they're pretty comprehensive. And what we're really looking for is to do what's required of us of ORS 192.650. And include with that what we've now started doing since, well, as long as this commission has been in place, I think we've had YouTube videos. And really what we'd like to have is And there's sort of examples that are in the packet there that show how they would change, in which we will talk about any motions that were made, the discussions that were had, and then what that in the vote that was taken. Carrie Ann, when she does that, will also timestamp in those minutes where that exists within the YouTube video. I personally I read a lot of minutes because of any partner agencies, stakeholder agencies, and when I get an entire thing of minutes, it's always much like when I get the YouTube video, I'm also a little bit kind of like but when I get the timestamp of where this exists within that video, I like that. I will mention that because she's not here tonight. Carrie Clute was supportive of the idea, but also did bring up sometimes it's nice to do a keyword search within minutes. Was that you?
I
Can't remember if it's you, I
something like
can't remember
that,
if it's you or
keyword,
Carrie, but I
yeah.
wanted to bring up that is, actually something that I hadn't considered, is that keyword search can be nice sometimes. Especially if you're looking for something way back and then trying to find out where it exists.
Yeah, they call it OCR, optical character recognition.
Okay,
It's just making your
Yeah.
PDF OCR friendly.
okay.
I think that's the word.
And do we do that now, Carrie?
No.
Okay,
I think it's a pretty good job, but none of the city documents are like.
I know, those ones are brutal. So, we're already doing what is required of us, and maybe just at a more comprehensive level. I'm not asking for you guys to do anything that, ORS 1926.50 already allows. It's rather sort of, what is your preference? Do you like to get those minutes? Do you like to read through them? Does it help you find things when you're using them? Do you think that other folks in the community would be interested in having that written format of it? I think there's a conversation to have here, but most of it's preference and not anything that we're required to do. And us foreseeing any potential issues, some that have been brought up is, what if someone is deaf, right? What is the situation there? And my understanding is that we would need to be able to provide them we provide them a record regardless of if they were deaf. I've read before where someone was requesting things in Braille because they were blind in the city, and they did have to require that. It came at a cost, right? But they had to require it, they paid it a cost. So in certain situations, we may go back to where we're having to do some dictation from the video. But we could also say that, that record doesn't exist and only exists in that format. I think it's probably both of those are debatable, but we would be hitting the minimum requirements of what's required.
This closed captioning on YouTube, though.
There are, right, there's closed captioning on YouTube, there's lots of different options, but it misses sometimes, right?
Right.
And so is that, the actual record? So it's more of a preference.
I think that's good, first of all, to see.
Yeah.
And secondly, we're a lot more impressive in person than we are in print anyway.
And really, and it just sort of closes it up. It really is because it's a time save. I actually hadn't considered doing this. At one time, I knew our minutes were unbelievably crazy. We were documenting every single word verbatim. And I've seen them slowly get smaller. But if the city decided to do this, and they had brought up some examples of recent cities that have been doing this, and then they said, it was because it was going to be about 20 hours a week that it was saving that person. And I was like, Karen, how much are you spending doing that? And sure as heck, it's right in that window. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a lot. And me and Genevieve are already sort of talking about what are the different programs that Carrie Ann should be touching that we need her to touch. One of them is our training program. There's no shortage of it, but training both sort of popped up to us as that we're behind some trainings. And mostly it's keeping a schedule of those and making sure, oh, you guys didn't take your smoke training, you need to do that, it expired to end. And so, there's been some discussion. She right away was like, you're taking away 20% of my job or 50% of my job. But we talked about it and we're like, no, there's plenty. But again, sort of like a preference. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so. I just,
What you're gonna do with all the time you say.
we'll just go with whatever is decided.
You can review grants now.
Okay.
I'll say that I like this idea, and the question that I had was answered, and I don't really have any concerns. Going forward.
I don't think I even really need a motion on here, because it's not really changing anything that, right, sort of consensus of, it would be fine getting the minutes like that, so. That's something that we can do going forward. We're just going to work with motions only. And guys, take a close look at them the next few times that they're in your packets. Make sure you're happy with them. Give me some feedback. Be like, oh, I would like to have seen this or that, and we can sort of tailor it, right? We can get down from 20 hours to 2, or I even need 20 hours to 11, right? But we can sort of get that down in the way. So.
And, you know, it's one of those things where if you find 6 months to a year, you didn't like, or it really,
Yeah.
you know, we were seeing deficits, then change it.
For sure. Yeah. Excellent. That's good. We're good there.
All right, executive director report.
Dr. Nellis?
All right, we'll come you guys to all these, but some of the big ones. We did a couple of LED light replacements on the bridge driving deck, and the bridge deck is now all LED, which is great. It's good money saving. They last much longer. We had 2 mini splits installed at the Ixtapa Jetty Light building to accommodate the higher use we're expecting. Been doing our weekly FEMA Zoom updates. That's been going well. The bi-monthly filter replacements for the flex buildings, that went well. Those units all look great. The Dogami annual report was submitted for the rock quarry. We did our temporary repair to the road near House 3. We also have a bid in hand and are working on a date to schedule to have that overlaid and completely repaired asphalt. We did interviews for seasonal and maintenance worker 1. We think we found our maintenance worker 1, and we'll be back with more on that. Very busy weekends and midweek at the Bridge of the Gods. This week we finally got a little slowdown in it, which is nice. The campground's been full each weekend and close to full throughout the week. Laurel, once again, kudos, she's been doing a great job with it. We've had a lot of CGR races and canoe club camp throughout the week. The sewer lift station pump is scheduled to be installed August 19th of this month. And in that, we discovered some areas that feed into the sewer lift station that we didn't know before. So we're working on updating the park sewer map as well. And that should give us a better idea on projects moving forward, where and how things are being used. Update from the Gov Deals auction for the old stern wheeler engines came in today, and those were sold. And so that's great. They're coming in tomorrow to pick them up, which would be great to get that out of Flex 6. And
How much do they sell for?
$6,000 for the pair. We initially had a $2,800, and we denied that. I lowered the reserve, and this round we got up to $6,000.
Awesome.
That's just about it. Everything else has been maintenance guys are just working weekly to keep the park going as is. Things are looking great out there. Alfonso's been working on edging. John has been working out in the business park and easy climb trails, making sure that all of our big fire dangers right out the road are taken care of and are now done before the heavy fire season kicks in. So we won't be back out there with metal bladed machines until the rains come. That pretty well wraps me up.
I'll just do a few highlights, let you know that the IGA with Skamania County has been finalized for the toll waiver for Skamania County Transit. And we've, Joanne set up their new account, so that we can still track via transponder their crossings. But Port of Hood River has already been notified of the accounting, and those charges will be zeroed out every month. We've been working to support Kitty City. There is $50 million, I believe, coming through the state for the Oregon Child Care Infrastructure Fund that funds real property and non-movable assets for establishing childcare facilities, which is exactly what Kitty City needs to make that space in the elementary school work for their business. And so we've been connecting them with our Business Oregon representatives, both just Business Oregon General, McHead, and also the Child Care Infrastructure Fund administrator for that grant. I'm really happy about being able to, by the stroke of luck, have the pavilion available for the Hair Because We Care event, which is preparing the kids for returning to school and with free haircuts and styles that'll happen at the pavilion. Thanks to Janetta for making sure that that could happen. Wanted to let you know the big lift that Jeremiah and I are working on right now is the legal and engineering, and Tommy also, and Laura at Cable Houston. We're working on the RFP for the bridge studies, the owner's engineer and project manager RFP that we're hoping to publish in the next month. It's a hefty document and we're in the thick of it right now. So that's actually quite a lot of hours of work and we're kind of deep into it right now. The construction on the new trail is going really well. Chris Bernhardt is sending us his weekly site visit inspection notes, and things are doing well and are so far not impacted by the fire. So they're doing well and we expect them to be done with their work next month. Maybe it'll bleed a little bit into October depending on how fire weather goes, but so far so good. We also are working with Richard Hallman. He's a renowned sports photographer to create a set of style guided photo image library for the port to be able to use for public information and marketing purposes. And thanks to Rob and Ted at Northwest Trail Alliance, we're trying to coordinate the best time for our photographer to be at the beach and to be on the trail. And we want to coordinate with local business owners to really have a suite of images that all kind of go together, but all make Cascade Locks look spectacular. And so that's something that is coming out of our advertising budget this year and should be done within about 5 to 6 shoots. And so we'll be doing that first one on Thursday. He's going to be coming to the barbecue at the beach for the canoe club, and I think CGRA will be there too and snapping pictures. We did submit our final reimbursement request to Business Oregon for the $50,000 grant since we have completed our strategic business planning process, and we expect that check in the mail shortly. We also received notification from the city planning department that the port's permit applications for the city's part for the ACL dock are deemed complete. We don't have the answer yet on approval, but they're at least complete. And finally, we've secured a 2-page ad in the economic development edition of Oregon Business Magazine, and we're working with their writer and photographer to put that together. That I believe is the September issue. And that's probably it.
Zip through some line, the DOT Centennial Celebration group met again. We didn't have a whole lot of new takeaways from that meeting. There are a number of folks that are working on that, and each one has sort of their little direction that they're going on it. We'll have them back probably here in a few months to talk about some of the traction they've made, but still 2 years out, so we're still sort of finding their flow there. City council meetings, weekly follow-up with FEMA. Well, I missed that today, didn't I? Pardon. We did the Main Street Cascade Locks walkthrough. So Main Street did an open house down at Thunder Island Brewing. Before that, there was an hour-and-a-half walkthrough where we looked at all the derelict buildings that were along the way, and some of the different parts of town that we didn't really know exist. If you ever get a chance to go up in front of where the restaurant was still a restaurant called Blue Dart.
Cascade Inn.
Cascade Inn. There's sort of that open space that sits in front of there. The city actually owns that space. We had some interesting conversations with Jordan about some food carts look good here. Wouldn't that be an interesting way for the city to generate some lease income? And he thought that was actually pretty cool. And there's an old spot where there used to be a statue that had been taken down, and I just never really explored that little square before, and it's just underused and right in the center of town, and some really cool stuff can be done. We met with we did the Whiskey Fire meeting, Whiskey Creek Fire meeting down in the pavilion. Met with Allison Williams, who's the new Hood River County Administrator. She was hired back in December, so she's kind of wrapping her brain around everything that is Hood River County. Had a good opportunity to show her the ports, did the port tour, had lunch. Commissioner Peterson was able to tag along, and we had Dan Mar tagged along as well, and so they all got to spend some time getting to know one another as well. Did the tour with Katy City. I was sort of flabbergasted that place existed and it wasn't already a childcare facility. I kind of got the backstory of it. It's a bit of a bummer, but the story going forward is going to be amazing. I can't see how we haven't already solved this problem with that space existing. But now with as much funding, as much new young families as we have in town, there really isn't a whole lot holding back this project, especially with how much money there's from business Oregon. And then as Genevieve talked about with the business Oregon economic development issue, I did an interview with them, really talking about the strategic business plan and sort of putting that front and center. We'll get a first draft or review of that. And there may be opportunities for commissioners to weigh in on that as well. Give a couple quotes, a couple lines, maybe a photo shoot. We'll see how it all plays out, but we may get you folks involved as well too. That was the gist of it. Thank you. Yeah. Tommy, what did you do?
All right. Commission comments. Start down here.
I don't have much except, wow, what a meeting this has been. I think, it showcases so much that has been done. I really appreciate all the work that you guys have done. Saturday and Sunday, I rode my bike, through Trail of the Bridge of the Gods half marathon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And got to see, I was just interested in how they all, flagged the course and different stuff and everything. It was such a well organized.
Totally.
It was.
Those guys are pros.
Yes, it was impressive. And then I drove down like I guess little, probably late for the last people rolling in. And we could see the struggle. It was fun to root them on, and yeah, that's such a great event. I'm glad I got to see part of it. And it's all. Thank you all.
Let's see, what did I do? Recently, I did go to the Bridge of the Gods marathon, helped out a little bit out there. It seemed like the event went really well with managing traffic in town. I didn't really see any complaints about deadlock on Wanapa, and they're able to get in, get out, and enjoy their times out there. So it seemed like it ran really smooth. And let's see, I also went to a Main Street conference down in Reedsport, Oregon, to kind of learn about the impacts of the Main Street program, also known as the Downtown Association program. It's really exciting to see what they're doing down there. And one of those biggest steps is to get community feedback on downtown revitalization. So if anyone's online listening or whatnot, if you want to share your ideas about our downtown, the city has a survey they have out. They're collecting surveys. So August 19th, you can go to their Facebook page to fill that out. Also want to say a big thank you to Genevieve for really getting our grant program in place, and it's really exciting to see a very strong potential grant award to new childcare in town. So it's been a problem I've heard online for several years, but it seems like we're probably making strides to get that to a reality, and also helping support our transportation transit partners with having toll waivers for them so we can improve access to getting around the gorge. So thank you for everybody involved in that. Let's see, the rest of the month, there's the annual community picnic on the 23rd. I think this year's a little different. The city's not hosting, the museum is, along with the port support. So that's Friday the 23rd. If you want to meet and greet your neighbors. And I think that's, oh yeah, PCTA is coming out. And the other question I have is there still a cross channel swim that's happening from Stevenson on Labor Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cross channels.
There's no new information about that though yet. Okay. So yeah, we're kind of
They're
moving
taking
into
registrations, but
the tail end of our summer activities and then enjoying the fall and hopefully less wildfires. So
yeah.
I hope everybody stays safe out there, so.
I missed the last meeting because of COVID, so I want to start with saying thank you for all of the July 4th events. It feels like it was years ago.
Yeah.
But it was only that one.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, July 4th is super fun. I'm so glad that you actually ordered the fireworks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your second nightmare or did not come true. So yeah, it was good, super fun. I was able to walk around and say hi to folks, so it was fun. Yeah, good time with the entire weekend from all the people that came through from town for Bridge of the Gods run. A lot of people came through from all over the place. I met people from all over everywhere. It was a lot of people from Colorado, which was very interesting, but a lot of folks from everywhere, so that was great. Yes, PCT Days is coming up, so everyone hold on. I also want to say thank you to Denise Baker, who joined for the first 2 minutes before we had our executive session, and also Mark Nixon for the executive director summary and the review. That was very interesting and fun. One may not be the right word, but it was exciting and interesting. I did want to note, not because it's technically a problem, but because it is our tenants. I did catch the smell from the sewer. It went all the way up the hill into Shahala. Like it was real bad. And I was driving home, pretty sure it was Saturday night. And I was like, what the heck is that smell? And I was like, oh, I remember what that is. And I even drove all the way home and you could still smell it throughout the entire neighborhood. So it was a very bad situation. It was at nighttime, so
I think it was a bolt.
it was what?
Cans.
That's what it was. That's what it was. No, it was pretty bad. So I don't necessarily know who to contact when it's like that.
I mean, so if you're a citizen, you should reach out to the city directly. That's sort of what I'm forced to do, is to reach out to the city directly. I don't have any control over it.
Right.
I think that speaking out to your elected officials is probably something that citizens can do as well.
Right. But also being 10 o'clock at night at Saturday, the no one's answering.
No one's answering.
So
Or work weeks as well. So.
yeah, exactly. I tried calling on Friday and I said, oh, that's not coming. But yeah, just
I will pass it.
noting it again. And then I guess the final thing is, obviously everyone's aware of the Whiskey Fire. I went out to Washington side just yesterday and you could just see just a huge plume of smoke. So it made me start thinking about, and I think I mentioned it in passing a couple days ago, but just, are there any updates as far as the generator that we received from the county and our ability to hook that up and a filter to any building in town in case we do have smoke that hits us and we need to help people with a clean air facility?
I'll give you the funding update, and Parker can talk a little bit about Charles' recommendation about the generator that he was. So we have received an email from OREM that they had 700 applicants for the grants, and they have narrowed that down to 100. But they're all busy at emergency management with wildfires, and so they're not deciding on the grants this month. So at least we know for both of our applications, we made it to the final 100, but that's all that we know. Really. And they're all super busy. So hopefully we'll hear as soon as possible about that, because it does require some contracting to get our generator transfer switch installed. But Charles had a recommendation on a different type of connection.
Yeah, so Charles, I'll have to, don't take me verbatim here, we got this email about a month ago.
Yeah,
I've seen a
it's
lot
been a long
since then.
time.
But so there's currently a kit stored at our Cascade Locks fire station. or soon to be stored there. I haven't checked in with John Logan to see if it got delivered there, but it is a large kit that comes in a box that has air purifiers, it has beds, it has all these different aspects to it to support an emergency situation. And the square footage that it could effectively clear is enough for us to put them in the pavilion, or if we did City Hall. So we have an option, at least for the summer. That's not a permanent option for us, but I think it will be great to see how it functions and see if it's something that we want to consider in the future as well, and maybe a bit more of a permanent solution.
Yeah, I mean, it just, obviously the winds have been relatively favorable for us as far as going that way.
Well, it's going to take
Right.
those.
And there have been days when it has come this way towards us and it's hard to breathe outside, so.
Yeah.
And I just want to be thoughtful of the citizens and what they might need in that time.
Having the winds go in that direction, both
Yeah, but when.
because of the fire and the other thing that you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
Fire station also has some mass level too.
Headed away from us.
But just, I know that whenever we secure the generator, there's also the industrial HEPA filter that was there, so I was
Yeah.
curious, like.
So the filters that
Would
are
we be able to use it now, or are there backups in case we need it?
backups in case we need it. There's a different option that is unrelated to the generator and the HEPA filters that we saw, but I believe there is a comparable of those HEPA filters in that kit. There is air filters in the kit there. I could ask Jeremiah, I'll forward the email to him tomorrow and ask him to disperse it to you guys so you can see what all is there.
Okay.
And what will be available to us. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And that's all I have.
All right, well, once again, you all have answered all the questions, I to really appreciate the performance review with Jeremiah, and I mean, things would go well, but I really appreciate the team that he's compiled here and the job that he's doing for all of us and for you all as well. As far as fires, was very happy, although it kept my wife up all night the other night. She was like, wakes me up at like 2 a.m. and she was awake because there were dry lightning strikes all along, was traveling right along the ridge above us, right where the Eagle Creek fire had taken out all that dry timber up there, and she was very thankful that apparently there were no fires started from the lightning, and you know, she's like on the computer and she's on the phone with the weather service and you know, Forest Service, and you know, stay awake half the night worrying about it. And I just said, well, wake me up if we have to evacuate, you know, so, but was happy we didn't have to, you know, because that would have interfered with my sleep, but
Minimum.
I love what's going on in the community right now. I mean, all the activity this time of year. The run this weekend was fantastic, and it's nice to see the town bustling, a lot of new faces in town, also a lot of new locals in town. Seems like every week I'm meeting new people that moved here in the last few weeks and you know, the last month or two, and love it here, and you know, moved from the Midwest or from Florida or from wherever else, but we have been discovered officially. So thank you for all your hard work, and I'm looking forward to all the great things that we're going to be doing now that we have the strategic business plan finished and got the grant program underway, and it's gonna I think make some great things happen here. So with that, I think we should adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.